Hey guys, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Dragoon. You may notice we are in a slightly different location. We are still in Snowfield. Remember, we just finished fighting the Polter armor in the last battle, and we have now, this is basically just the top of the slope. I have re-entered the area. So I've been doing a lot of work, and I mean a lot of work. I'm wanting to say in total this came out to about 9 hours. I did one like 7.5 hour session, and then one like hour-and-a-half session once I realized I still had more to do. What was I doing all that time, you ask? Well, I'm glad you did, because let's take a look. What I have been doing is grinding out final editions. As you may notice, Dart now has Blazing Dynamo. I went through and maxed out all of these. Remember, in order to get your final edition, all of the previous editions have to be at level 5, which means 80 completions is the minimum. So, I think pretty much all of these except Volcano, not Madness Hero, Crush, Volcano, I think everything except Volcano and Crush Dance I still had to do, because these two are at 99. Rose now has Demon's Dance. I had to do basically all of hers, I think. Hashel now has Omni Sweep. I had to do most of his, except for Flurry of Sticks, I believe. Maybe one of the others, I'm not entirely sure. Albert already had Flower Storm. Meru has Perky Step. I had to do everything except Hammer Spin. She also got Cat's Cradle along the way. That's one we haven't seen yet, so let's put that on. And Kongol has Bone Crush. I like Kongol because he only has 2 other editions, so it's pretty quick to get his 3rd one. Unfortunately, he is very slow. So that's what I've been doing. It takes a lot of time. We've also actually gained a few levels. I don't know if how closely people have been keeping up with levels and stuff. Dart is up to 34. I'm wanting to say he gained probably 3 or 4 levels off of this. You may also notice that our gold total is pretty high. We gained quite a bit of money from that as well. So that actually helped us in a number of ways. The gold in particular is actually going to be pretty helpful here in just a minute. Well, not a minute, maybe more like an hour or so, but, you know, at some point we will be spending that. I've got some things in mind that we want to spend that money on in particular. So you also may notice my party is a little bit messed up. That's because I want to just go ahead and show some of these people's final editions, and then, you know, after that we'll probably never see them again, but so be it. So basically, I saw a lot of these types of guys. These weasels became kind of annoying, the windy weasel guys, because they can evade a lot, and Congo goes first, which is weird. But let's go ahead and just try out some attacks here. I think, yep, I messed that up. I'm really not familiar at all with these timings, so I'm kind of just playing it by ear. We'll skip Dart, because we'll be seeing a lot of him. Hopefully somebody else will come up. Rose is up. Let's see what she can do.
Die. Demon's Dance.
There we go. So that's Demon's Dance. Quite a bit of hits, all of these. So if you don't know the timing, there's kind of a lot of, you really got to pay attention. All right, let's see if we can get Kongol to go again. We may be guarding for a while here. There he is. Did I miss it at the same one? I did, didn't I? Alright, so you can see I brought Meru, and I still want to get Kongols. We saw most of it, but he still got one more hit after that. So Meru, this is going to be Cat's Cradle, which is not her final edition, but is one that she gained while I was working on editions, just by virtue of leveling up. So let's see what it looks like. One thing that I found while playing as Meru is that her additions are actually pretty fun. It kind of takes into account the fact that she's a dancer, so like her additions are really rhythmic. I really like Cat's Cradle actually, it's got a pretty good rhythm to it. Let's go ahead and see Dart's Blazing Dynamo while we're at it. He can finish off this thing.
Yes. Go. Go. Blazing Dynamo.
So there we go, there's that one. Good thing about Blazing Dynamo is that as far as I know, it can't actually be countered. So that's helpful. Congo, buddy, you're gonna get a turn, thank you. There it is, that's Bone Crush. Not too many hits, not too flashy, but well, you know, that's Congo for you. And in our final battle before we move on, I've stuck Haschel in. I'm actually going to keep Haschel in my party. We'll talk more about that once we get done with this. But we've also got Meru's final addition to see, Perky Step. It's considered by a lot of people to be one of the hardest additions to, get down in the game. So let's see what it looks like and if I can do it. It's still rhythmic. It's just rhythmic in kind of a different way. But a couple fast hits, a couple long pauses in between. So it's very dynamic, I'll say that much. And finally, Haschel gets his turn. Let's see if we can pull off an Omni Sweep here.
Take that, Omni Sweep.
Haschel I also really like because his hits feel so substantial. Like, that's a really good, punch, kick, connect sound. And it's really fun to play as a result. So this is going to be my party that we're going with. We're with Dart, Meru, and Haschel. Of course, Meru stays in the party because, well, you know why Meru stays in the party. It's also worth mentioning this is a good place to grind out those addition levels because there's a cave right here that you can heal at anytime you want. It's pretty quick. You just come in and rest a little. You get healed, and then it automatically puts you back outside, so, you can be right back up on your feet. We're replacing Albert. He's been kind of the star of the show for the last 3 discs or so, if you want to include his time as Lavitz. So we're replacing him mostly because Haschel actually comes into his own pretty well, especially once you get into the final edition. He's faster than Albert. He has higher magic defense. And when you include both his attack and his speed, he's going to be doing kind of more damage overall than Albert will be doing. Even though Albert's are, very high numbers, he doesn't get as many turns as Haschel will. So we're kind of bringing him along for his speed. This is a nice little scene here. I think we can just turn it off here. Just a nice little snowy vista while we talk. So that's why we're keeping Haschel in. Meru's Perky Step gets up to, I want to say, like 500% damage. So she's going to be doing a lot of damage, even with her relatively low strength. So expect to see us start really shooting up in power here very soon, especially since we've gained, a few levels here and there from all of this as well. Okay, so there is one last thing that I wanted to talk about. If you remember, there was a little piece of equipment that I wanted to get in the last part, and I did not remember the correct sequence. So let's go ahead and, Rose is fine. She'll be able to equip it. It's the Dancer's Ring. You go down the right side of that slide and then hit the button at the 2nd and 4th prompts. And that will take you to the chest, which has the Dancer's Ring. This increases agility by 20 points, so if you really wanted to speed Meru up a whole bunch, you can do that. But I think I've mentioned before, I really just like the benefits of the therapy ring on her, so we will keep her with that. Alright, so without any further ado, let's finally get going. We spent a lot of time sort of catching up, doing a little bit of paperwork for the time being, but we're now ready to go. If you remember where we're at in the story, we have defeated Lloyd, and Gloriano has said that we need to go see him with the moon objects and Lloyd in tow here in the capital of Vel Web. So let's enter. Been a little while since we've heard this music. This is the music that was in the Black Castle back in Disc 1. I don't think we've heard it since. This is the capital city, Vel Web. 7 towers. Remind you of anything? Yeah, and we were told Diaz is waiting in there for us. It's the Tower of the 7 Dragoons. And the throne of the Holy Emperor is underneath. So we're pretty much in the human capital. The legendary place where humans began their liberation back in the Dragon campaign. I wonder if it's an abominable place as well. You remember Cadessa? And Meru chimes in saying, "We think too much." It's the same as Cadessa, isn't it? When you drag the past around, you cannot walk anywhere. So in the same way that we cheered her up when we were in Cadessa, she's going to give us a little bit of a lift. This Vel Web is a mere historic ruin, nothing else. It's a little weird having this whole conversation with Lloyd just standing around, like, what does he think about all this? Alright, let's get going. So it's pretty simple here for the time being. I don't remember if this place gets too complex or not. I have to admit, it's actually been a little while since the last time I went through this. So a nice little view there. Interesting stuff going on. All the weird magic spiral clouds going around. That can't be good. Also kind of a Valley of Corrupted Gravity feel. We've got some rocks floating around on the sides, so that always works. Some interesting enemies here. These are probably some of the more interesting ones that we'll find in this place. We've got the Terminators. They'll be back. And we also just have a witch. The witch is kind of funny. I like to kind of leave the witch to attack because if it's in the blue, it will literally do a physical attack, and it's really funny. So I'm gonna see if we can leave him alive. Whoop. That little front flip is so cool. All right, Mara's up. Let's see if we can get another perky step going here. Not bad. It's kind of a hassle to try to get all of that. I really have to concentrate. And Hashel's isn't too bad. It's pretty easy to figure out the rhythm for that. Here he goes. Oh. He's got like a crystal ball and he can do all this magic and he just hits us with the crystal ball. Like, that's so good. This is probably going to be one that I miss a lot. Also, the witch has like no HP, and you can kill her pretty easily, so just kind of it's probably one of those things where if they manage somehow to get in the red, it would be really bad, you know, with powerful magic and stuff. But otherwise, you know, physical attacks, take them down. All right, let's continue. And, you know, it's worth mentioning that all of the characters are just going to keep getting stronger as we level up the final editions even more. I don't think I pointed out necessarily the starting stats for each of them, but, you know, like 200%, 300%, that kind of thing. But, you know, they will all sort of level up to like 500%. I think Hashel's goes to 401, if I'm not mistaken. And, you know, obviously Dart will get stronger as well, so it's just gonna keep getting better as we go on. Our damage is literally gonna be multiplied. Alright, Maximum Volts. These guys are interesting. Kind of have a charging apparatus on their back, and they're kind of using like kinetic energy to charge it up or something. So let's just go for it. One other real big benefit of this party setup that I have with their Ultimate Editions, I'm pretty sure that none of these 3 editions can be countered. Obviously, Albert's can, so it doesn't hold true universally, but I'm pretty sure for all 3 of our current party members, yeah, I missed it, oh well. But for our current party members, I think they cannot be counterattacked, so that's gonna actually really lighten the load on things I have to think about. And another turn. The only thing about all this is it does make the attack animations take quite a lot longer. And down he goes. So yeah, Hashel is actually going to be doing a lot of good for us down the road once he gets his final edition leveled up. And, you know, his increased speed also helps. Right now I have him equipped with the Giganto badge. What that does is increase his physical attack and defense. Something you really could do if you wanted the extra speed is to equip him with those bandit shoes if you got him. The bandit's ring, I think, is a thing we can get. Can't carry anymore. I think these are mostly just attack items and stuff. You know, kind of the usual fare, nothing too terribly important. Alright, so let's head back down and check out the 2 guys that were down here. These guys may look a little bit familiar. Here's Tercero. And also the peddler brother Primero. So these are the 2 brothers of the 2 that we saw back in the Cashua Glacier, I guess that was. There are always customers even in this kind of place. You know, a place nobody has been for like thousands of years, but sure, let's set up shop here, why not? Well, I guess I'm glad they did. It's all due to the skills in my passionate merchant soul. So, another weapons and items peddlers. Let's go ahead and see what they have. I think this guy actually has an upgrade for Hashel, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. Okay. So, another weapon for Albert if you wanted to increase his attack further. Let's do it. We've got all the money in the world. Meru already has this mace armor, so yeah, that'll help out Hashel's defense a bit. Let's do it. And this is the Gianto ring I was talking about. I think I got a few of these just from the random battles around the snowfield area, so and you can also buy them here. As you can see, it raises physical attack and defense power. That's what I've got on Hashel, so good to go. And I'll do a little bit of item management. I don't think, no, not weapons. It's kind of hard to get the correct one. Item guy, there we go. I don't think I've got too much to do, but, well, I'll take care of all that off screen. Alright, did a little bit of buying and selling, basically just replenished my stock of everything. Replenished the mind purifiers, the body purifiers, because we were out of the mind, I think. So, good idea to get all stocked up there. It's worth mentioning that we picked up an item from that Pulsar armor fight that I haven't quite said what it does yet. If we scroll all the way down to the bottom here, you see we picked up a smoke ball. Escape a minor enemy. Again, the description is a little bit weird, but the escape is the important part. This is basically kind of like the flee skill in Final Fantasy. This smoke ball is a repeatable item. You use it, and it's a 100% guaranteed escape. Only from minor enemies, of course, as it says. So if you're tired of fighting battles, they're just weighing you down, and you want to speed things up, using the smoke ball is a pretty good way to speed that up quite a bit. I'm still going to be fighting most of the battles that I come across. Obviously, a lot of them will be cut out, but I still want to fight those in order to level up those final editions. So Rose is pointing out the huge battery. Again, kind of the Valley of Corrupted Gravity feel. You know, we saw a lot of that kind of energy field stuff going on. Even shot huge arrows from there, aiming at the Tower of Flanville where we just were. And back then, humans thought this way. The arrow would not only shear the darkness that covers the earth, but also shear the corrupted hearts which were accustomed to being ruled. I don't know. I can't tell. The guy who claims he's Diaz, I think we can find out the reason. It's one of those things where, as Rose said, Diaz was supposed to have died a very long time ago. There's no way it could be Diaz, right? But, you know, again, there's kind of all this stuff still around from the Dragon campaign, so I guess it wouldn't be that far-fetched. Alright, whoop, hello. What do we got here? Whoa, hey, Shirley. Man, wow, it's been a while. So, yeah, why are you here? I thought she sort of, is ascended to heaven. I thought she made her peace back at the shrine. Before that, I had to take care of something here. Couldn't leave the trapped souls alone in this world. And she is talking about the 4 souls of the Dragoons who lost their lives during the Dragon campaign. Some of which we have very briefly seen in one of Rose's flashbacks a while ago. Souls were drawn to Mayfill, the gate of the Inferno from which you can never return, requesting the souls of the Dragoons. So apparently this Death City Mayfill is still active. May their souls inert and anchored them in this place, but there's a limit to your power. Yeah, you seem to be kind of flickering there a bit, shorting out. After you meet Diaz, please visit this place again and lead their souls to heaven. So something we'll need to come back for later. We can't actually do anything with it right now, even if we wanted to. However, I am going to stop by. Because there's one little thing that I want to pick up. And these are going to be those 7 towers that we saw on the way in. So, you know, this whole place kind of forms a circle. If you wanted, you could go around and mess with all that, but there's really no need. There's only one thing here for now. So if we head up the stairs on this first tower here, got to do a slow walk up them, of course, and head into the area that is behind. We can check the little shrine here or whatever it is. There's a small hole in the middle of the relief, and we get a Stardust. Remember those, right? It's been a little while. This is the 46th. There are only 4 more to collect in the entire game, so if that tells you how close we're getting to the end, then, well, we're getting at least pretty close. So, let's head back out. Probably fight one more. Okay, well. We'll still fight one more once we get out of here, so it's not like it really matters. So I was apparently mistaken. Perky Step can be counterattacked. And it's one of those that's kind of tricky like Albert's is. So you kind of have to know just exactly how long that animation takes in order to hit the next one after this. So Shirley's going to show up again. It's worth mentioning, this isn't brought up anywhere, but every time Shirley shows up, we are fully healed. You notice we're all at full HP and MP. We might have been before anyway. But basically every time you walk through that area, you get a full heal, which is nice. Man, that's a long time at red there. Like, I'm expecting a battle here. Alright, 2 new enemies have shown up. Whoop. I like the sound effect for that. And we have the Spring Hitter, which I guess is aptly named, and we also have the Succubus, of course. Couldn't go an RPG without a Succubus. Oh, I guess I missed that hit. I didn't think I did, but apparently I did. So these guys don't have too much health. It seems like if you do around about 500 or so, they'll go down. So, you know, 2 of our characters can do that in one shot. Let's check out the Succubus. Also not bad. So it is worth mentioning that I am probably a little bit stronger than you're supposed to be at this point. I was probably right on pace before. Oh, hey, look, he actually leveled up his Dragoon. Got Violet Dragon. Yeah, that's also a thing that happened that I didn't really touch on too much. We did gain a few Dragoon levels with everyone, obviously, because using additions gets you quite a lot of SP. So if we look at our status, I'm not sure exactly who had what before and who didn't, but Dart has the Red-Eyed Dragon. Basically, the final magic for everyone is kind of the summoning for their dragon. So he's got the Red-Eyed Dragon. Hashel just got the Violet Dragon, and he had Thunder Kid and Thunder God before. Albert did pick up Jade Dragon at some point. I don't remember if that's recent or if he's had it before. Diamond Dust might be new, but I don't think so. And I don't know anything about Kongol's magic. I don't know that I've ever actually used it. So, you know, the thing with the dragon summons is they're very expensive, 80 MP, and that only leaves you with 20 because you max out at 100. So, I don't know. They're kind of limited usefulness. There's a high, like, percentage number that shows up in the description, but it seems to not actually do that much more damage, for example, than Dart's Final Burst. So, you know, and it uses more than twice the MP, so it's one of those things where I'm not really sure. It's cool, but I don't really know if it's entirely that useful. Was I supposed to skip this one? I believe I was. Doesn't look like there's anything out here. Alright, let's try the next door. So we're going down a little spiral tower here. I do believe this is something we're looking for. Oh yeah, this is an interesting treasure. Once we pick it up, we get Rose's hairband. It's apparently Rose's old hairband that she had before. I don't know who picked it up and put it in a box. I guess she got a new one in the meantime. But of course, Rose is the only one that can equip this. You know, it's better. Avoids instant death, which is always nice. It's kind of a free talisman effect, so, you know, why not put it on her? Nobody else can equip that other than Rose. So, I don't know. If you're using her, I guess it's good to find that. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter that much. Alright, the last door at the very bottom will lead us to another item if we want it. I don't, so we will just move on. Interesting place. Very devoid of color. It's kind of all just gray. You know, a little bit of fire here and there, I guess, but this looks like it's the final room. It looks like Shauna's laying there in the middle. Whoop. Didn't know you could do that. Oh, hello. You look important sitting there on your throne. So Lloyd identifies him as Diaz. We've got all 3 of the moon objects. Do a trade here. How are we going to play this? Yeah, but remember, Lloyd is under the impression that all 3 of the divine moon objects will allow him to create a utopia that will restore, you know, the Winglies' power and all that. So it looks like he's at least going to honor his word. He's released Shauna to us. The advent of the last species, the 108th fruit. It says, if you're the true Diaz, you should know what that implies. Total destruction. Uh-oh. The Virage embryo, the god of destruction, the last species we desire. True Virage. Yep, so, as we might have guessed, Lloyd was just being used by Diaz the whole time. It's kind of interesting, you know, kind of the main villain for a few discs now. Turns out to have just been used by an even bigger bad. My utopia exists in the future of this world. What I desire is the creation of the future, not the destruction of this world. Oh, man. Well, that does it for Lloyd, I guess.
It's been a while. Rose, Dart. Father?
Oh, it cannot be!
Also worth pointing out, they didn't spend a lot of money on voice acting for this game. If you look up a lot of these people on IMDb, this is like the only credit they have. So, oh, it cannot be. That was a pretty bad read. Sorry, whoever that was, but they didn't quite do you justice on that one. So, Diaz here has turned out to reveal himself as Zieg, which apparently both Dart and Rose know. Dart knows him as his father, and Rose says he died with Melbu Frama on each other's swords. So, we got some stuff to clear up. Let's sit down and grab some popcorn, huh? The beginning of the world was an absolute nothingness, darkness. The creator Soa sowed a seed to the earth. This is the plan of Soa that created all species, the birth of the divine tree. Eventually, the fruit of the divine tree ripened and fell to the ground to fill the world with life. Gigantos from the 97th fruit, Venentos from the 99th fruit, dragons from the 105th fruit, humans from the 106th fruit, Winglies with magic power from the 107th fruit. And at the end, the Virage embryo, the god of destruction, was to be born from the 108th fruit. Soa desired the destruction and regeneration of the world by the Virage embryo, the god of destruction. However, 11,000 years ago, Winglies found out the tragedy waiting for them and sealed the 108th fruit by separating the flesh and soul. The flesh of the god, the flesh of the Virage embryo, was taken away from the Winglies as the moon that never sets that glows in the sky. And the soul of the god was captured in the crystal sphere, and Melbu Frama kept it. Yes, to withdraw unlimited magic power from that and to conquer the other creatures. However, even with unlimited magic power, the domination was not eternal. Humans arose with dragoons in front. Nothing was their match because they obtained the power of the dragon, and finally they drove Melbu Frama into a corner. Felt certain of my victory, and it was in the next moment the spell of petrification cast by Melbu captured me. I've waited for 11,000 years. Time almost eternal dissolved the spell of Melbu, and I was released from captivity. Days spent with Rose became the eternal past, and I lived as the father of Dart in this age until the tragic day in Neat. So, yeah, turns out, same dude, the one that Rose kind of had a thing with back in the Dragon campaign, apparently, and the Dart's father was, in fact, one and the same person. They're both heroes of the Dragon campaign. Humans made a mistake. Silly humans destroyed the crystal sphere, which was the container of the soul along with the royal capital, Cadessa. The Virage embryo, the god of destruction, was exultant. It could now be born. Free soul released from the crystal sphere started to wander in order to go back to the body that left in the moon that never sets, to be born as the last god and to destroy the world. The soul without a body possesses a human body and heads for the moon that never sets by repeating the transmigration every 108 years. You now know the soul of the god of destruction is the Moonchild, the truth of the Moonchild in the legend. And of course, like I've been saying all this time, that whole thing couldn't have just been completely wrong. And this is the one, this is the guy that says it again, drives me over the edge. So the holy blessing is the destruction is so as will. This is the fate that rules the future of the world. But there was a Dragoon who found out about it. In order to deter the birth of the god of destruction, she has had to kill the moon children. By stopping her own time, she was even called a demon. That is the true self of Rose, the black monster. Oh, man. The Moonchild has to be killed, and the people around it too, before they become the servants of the god of destruction. So we finally learned the truth of the black monster, which turned out to be Rose. There were hints. If you were paying very close attention, you may have been able to put together something like that, especially the stuff on the ghost ship. But the reason she became the black monster was because the soul of the god of destruction was migrating into the moon children every 108 years. So she's had to kill all of them. One more truth. Alright, I guess we can deal with one more. You thought the Princess Luvia you killed 18 years ago, remember the ghost ship, was the Moonchild, but it's not true. Luvia had a twin sister. Shauna is the Moonchild. You probably put that together after finding all of this stuff out as well. Shauna is the soul of the Virage embryo, the god of destruction. Which, finally explains why she was being called by other Virages. All the weird stuff that was happening to her, especially when she looked at the moon that never sets, it all kinds of makes sense now, huh? So he's got everything. He's got the divine moon objects. He's got Shauna, the Moonchild. Are you gonna kill her to save the world? Oh, man. Oop. No such luck. Not that simple. All is the will of the Creator, so us. That's kind of the only question left, is why is Zeeg doing this after all that time? My hands start the world and my hands end the world. Maybe he's just delusional after spending 11,000 years in stone, I guess. And we get a save opportunity, which we are probably going to take. And once we do so, please insert disc 4. We're getting ready to start the 4th disc out of 4, which means we are now approaching the final leg of our journey. So I'm going to leave it right here. Next time we will start up with disc 4. Until then, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.